Today we're talking about the Lasagne Garden. It's the third year in.
And the $20 tomato right here on Cabin Life. Hey folks, I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen, and today we're going to be talking to you about the Lasagne Garden. It's the third year in, and we'll be comparing it to some other beds that we have in the garden as well.
Hey, Woody's here. So overall, Maureen, how do you think that the garden fared over the winter?
I think it did quite well over the winter. There was some weeds in the spring, but not very much, at least in the Lasagne Garden beds.
Yeah.
They fared really well as far as the weeds. The bed that was new last year, the tilling garden, the traditional garden, it had a lot of weeds and grass in it this year. This spring, it was easy to clean out. Everything else was good. Our spearmint came up fantastic. We have lots of spearmint.
So how much work have you had to put in so far for the amount that you've done, like compared to a regular tilled garden where you're bringing in new topsoil and stuff?
Well, the Lasagne Garden beds, all I had to do was just sort of fluff up the gardens a bit. I turned them over with the rake, add a little bit of compost, and away they were. Took a few weeds out.
So just a fraction of the work?
Oh, way less work. It was a lot more work doing the traditional garden, weeding it out.
I haven't even worked up a sweat putting this straw around it.
This bed here, this is the new potato bed.
Yeah.
I built it up. I put some bark underneath at the bottom to level it out, and I put some straw on top and some of our good topsoil.
You wanted to get another 100 of these in, eh? So that's another 2 beds
that
you want to get.
Yeah.
We figured you needed, what did we figure that out? In the number of potatoes or pounds?
We figured out the number of potatoes that we would need.
Oh yeah, we need about 200 potatoes, I think we figured.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Roughly.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a lot of work normally to do a traditional garden, a lot of, bringing in soil, wheelbarrowing it, making the beds. We've done all that ourselves in the past as well, in different gardens and different methods that we've tried when we lived in different locations. And it's varied depending on the type of summer and the growing season, type of soil and all that. So, you know, we've tried the raised beds, we've tried the regular tilling, and we've gone through the route of, having a rototiller and all the equipment. In some of our gardens that we've tried, had all the conditioner, bought all of the ingredients to condition the soil and to bring it up to par, and the nutrients and whatnot, all that kind of stuff. And I think in some of those cases, we joke about the $20 tomato, because I think that's probably about what it cost us by the time that we were finished the end of that first season of growing the garden back then, with all the equipment and everything that we'd purchased. But over the years, we've minimalized things, and so we're doing it differently, as you've seen on our playlist. Check it out right here if you haven't done that, our forest garden, and doing it with a minimalist approach, very simple, with hand tools and a lot of sweat and bending the back.
Yeah, and we decided that with this garden, we would take materials from the forest. That was what we would use. So the topsoil is actually from root balls of the trees that were
wind toppled
or moved out of the way for the building of the homestead and the cabin. So we use that soil and other materials, the greens and the leaves from the property, and that's what we've built our beds with. Now, straw, straw.
We've brought in straw and we brought in rabbit manure. Those are the 2 ingredients we've had to bring in.
Right.
Other than that, everything is from the resources, from the property, all the tall grasses, all the brown leaves, excess soil, and biomass, lots of biomass.
And the gardens have turned out quite well for doing that. I'm quite pleased with it. And the reason why we decided to do it that way was if we had purchased topsoil, it would have been from a pit around this area, and it's basically scraping the topsoil from the same forest that we live in. So I thought, well, why pay someone to do that when we could get all of our soil right here from our own resources?
It may take longer for us doing it ourselves, and I mean, that's the price you pay on saving money. right?
Yeah.
You pay with your sweat and your time and energy, and yeah, it may take longer to do that. So, but it is a trade-off, and we decided that, well, we're going to try it this way because we are intentionally trying to keep a small footprint and just eke out a small garden for ourselves to begin with, and then see how that goes.
And we want to know what's in our garden, like what's in the soil. So that's why we use soil from the property here, because we know it hasn't been contaminated at all. So it's good. Yeah, a lot of the plants, the perennials, did really good in the garden this year. The spearmint's coming up quite prolifically in the garden. It's taken over the whole bed that it started in. The red clover is doing fantastic. The rabbits are really enjoying it, so we had to put some mesh material around it to keep them out. And the Italian oregano, it's growing really good. It's the third year for it as well. And the garlic, how do you like the garlic? It looks pretty good,
Yeah,
eh?
really good.
Yeah, we planted garlic last year, and I thought, see how it goes, and it's come up really well in the bed. Really
And how's the rhubarb doing? Your family heirloom rhubarb?
It's doing really well. It's growing up really good this year. This is year 2 for the rhubarb after being transplanted, and you can't harvest it until year 3, so
Gotta wait another year.
we have to wait another year. But it's coming along really well.
I'm really looking forward to this time of year when we're planting all the tomatoes, getting that in, and then even looking more forward to the harvest time when we can have some tomato sandwiches and have some real nice tomatoes.
Yeah, have some cherry tomatoes, and we'll have some plum tomatoes to make our sauce for canning, and lots of sandwich tomatoes.
Bear?
Or a trespasser.
I haven't seen any bear here at all this spring, so it's unusual. Anyway, yeah, looking forward to the tomatoes, and we joke about the $20 tomato all the time, and we do try to become more efficient as we go. We said that we only use hand tools, and we'll be totally transparent here. On the channel, we do stress getting back to the land and minimalist approach to life, and that's how we live. We actually use hand tools for all of our garden stuff and most of any of our building. I don't do huge building projects, but we get by with hand saws and hand tools. So a shovel, a rake, a little backhoe and the backhoe.
A hoe.
A hoe.
A hand
How
hoe.
much you rent a hoe for?
A backhoe?
No, a hoe.
How much you rent a hoe for? I don't know.
Oh,
A whole lot.
Oh, a whole
A
lot.
whole lot.
I was gonna say on a Friday night is $20, Saturday night is 25.
Wrong channel.
So where were we going with that? Yeah.
Down the wrong rabbit hole.
Okay, so that was that was like $20 tomatoes. With the limited tools that we have, we've been able to gather the biomass and rake the leaves, get all the greens, and make the garden what it is today. And it's been a lot of work, but with the work comes the rewards as time goes on. And there's something to be said about that. We could go to the store and we do when there's fruits or vegetables that are out of season here for us that we don't have available here. We go to the store, of course, and buy them, and it might cost us 50 or 75 cents for a tomato or something like that. And it doesn't compare to our $4 tomato that we grow here, though. No, the taste, there's a taste difference. Really not really much comparison when you think about it. They're like two different things. So we don't mind putting the time, the effort, the energy, and waiting for that harvest to come in. It makes the food taste that much better, and we know it's better for us too. So maybe it is more expensive by the each, but
But you know, it's kind of like Christmas when you go to the garden, eh? You go in the morning, go and see what's ready to be picked, and you got a fresh tomato or a cucumber, some mint right out of the garden to have your morning tea.
yes.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
So it's like there's all kinds of non-tangible rewards from building your own garden.
Yeah, the time for every minute that you spend in the garden is about an hour that you don't have to spend on social media. So and going down rabbit holes. So being out in the garden and tending that is very healthy, very nice to get outside, get the fresh air, and putter around in the garden and really get close to the earth. And it's almost the same as hitting a reset button. You know, you go out for to the garden for an hour or so, and a half an hour or something like that, and you know, do a bit of weeding. Although you know, there's not much weeding to do in this Lasagne garden, as you were saying. But I mean, to putter around and just check on all the plants and put the tender, loving care into the growing.
Yeah, one of the things I left out of the Lasagne garden on purpose was the layer of cardboard, because I thought, I don't know where the cardboard comes from or what it's been exposed to or chemicals or anything, so I just left it out. And also, since then, I've learned that by leaving cardboard on the soil like that, it creates a thick layer so the air and the water can't permeate through to feed the layers of the soil down below the garden.
Yeah, there's a lot of rewards in that $4 tomato. There's a lot less toxins in more ways than one. It's organically grown, so you don't have to worry about any of the chemicals and all that stuff. There's less toxins because you've grown that by hand with hand tools in organic soil. So much better environment. Absolutely, 100%. Get out there, fresh air. Being outside in the fresh air.
Getting exercise, getting some stress-free activity outside in the garden.
And right now the mosquitoes are actually, they're kind of nasty. I noticed they seem to be out earlier than normal. This year they just really seem to be an onslaught with all the water that's been around. And the black flies are also out and hungry as well. So it seems like that wave, I definitely noticed that they have come with an onslaught, but earlier than normal. Well, it looks like we're going to be in for some rain tonight and tomorrow. That'll get the garden growing, and it's going to be growing in size too, so stay tuned. That's all for now. I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
We'll see you next time. Over and out.
Take care.